Tai-Ho wiped the sweat from his forehead as he guided his small ship closer to the wreck. The strange alien vessel hung in the darkness of space like a dead animal. His scanner beeped, showing no signs of danger, but something about this ship made his skin feel cold. "Control, this is Tai-Ho. I found something in Sector 7, he said into his radio. The reply came back with static. "What kind of ship? Can you identify it?" Tai-Ho looked at the strange curves and odd metal of the ship. It was unlike any he had seen before. Parts of it seemed to glow with a soft blue light. "No, it's not in our books. It looks old, very old, but also very advanced. Wait for backup, Tai-Ho. Do not board until." Tai-Ho turned off his radio. The company would take hours to send help. By then, other scavengers might find this place. The bonus for finding new tech would be his alone if he moved fast. He parked his ship next to the wreck and put on his spacesuit. The suit had tools built into it that made him stronger. He could lift heavy things and work for hours without getting tired. It was perfect for a mechanic like him. Just a quick look, he told himself as he pushed off from his ship and floated toward the dead vessel. The outside of the ship was cold metal with strange marks that might be writing. Tai-Ho found a hole in the side big enough to enter. He turned on his helmet light and went inside. The air in the ship was thin but breathable. Tai-Ho kept his helmet on anyway. The walls inside looked part metal, part living thing. Crystal growths spread across surfaces like blue moss. His boots made no sound on the soft floor. "What is this place?" he whispered. His scanner showed the ship had power, but just barely. Most systems were dead. Tai-Ho moved deeper into the ship. His light showed empty rooms with strange furniture built for bodies not shaped like humans. In one room, he found what looked like dried blood, but it was blue and slightly glowing. Something had happened here. Something bad. His scanner beeped again. The life sign. Weak but there. Tai-Ho followed the signal down a long hall where the crystal growths were thicker. The deeper he went, the more damage he saw. Parts of the ship were torn open. There had been a fight here. The signal led him to a large room that might have been the control center. Part of the ceiling had fallen. Under the broken pieces lay a large animal. At first, Tai-Ho thought it was some kind of dog or wolf. It had that shape, with 4 legs and a tail. But this was no earth animal. Its fur was silver blue, and along its spine, metal parts were built into its body. One back leg was badly hurt, trapped under fallen metal. The creature's eyes were closed, but its chest moved slowly with breath. Tai-Ho stepped closer. The creature was big, almost as tall as his chest if it stood up. Its face was wolf-like, but with a shorter nose and larger eyes than earth wolves. As if feeling his stare, the creature opened its eyes. They were deep purple with no whites, and they locked onto Tai-Ho with clear intelligence. This was no animal. This was a person. The ship creaked around them. More pieces of ceiling fell nearby. The wreck was falling apart. "I'm not going to hurt you," Tai-Ho said, moving closer with his hands up. "But this place is not safe. We need to go." The wolf creature watched him. It tried to move but could not free its trapped leg. It made no sound but looked at Tai-Ho with what seemed like both fear and hope. Tai-Ho made his choice. His boss would be angry. The company might even fire him. But he couldn't leave this being here to die. "I'm going to help you," he said, moving to check the fallen debris. "Somehow, we're both getting out of here alive." The ship groaned louder. They didn't have much time. The ship shook again, harder this time. Dust and small pieces of metal fell from above. Tai-Ho had to work fast. "I'm going to move this off you," he said to the wolf creature, pointing at the heavy metal beam that trapped its leg. "It might hurt." The creature's purple eyes watched him. It seemed to understand. It stopped trying to pull away and lay still. Tai-Ho's work suit had power arms that made him stronger. He set them to full power and grabbed the metal beam. His suit hummed as he lifted. The beam was very heavy, but slowly it moved up. Can you pull yourself out? Taiho asked through gritted teeth. The beam was getting heavier by the second. The wolf creature tried to move but could not. Its leg was too badly hurt. Blue blood leaked from the wound, glowing softly in the dim light. Okay, new plan, Taiho said. He braced the beam with his shoulder and reached down with one hand. I'm going to pull you out. This will hurt, but we have no choice. He grabbed the creature by its good front leg and pulled. The wolf made no sound, but its eyes squeezed shut in pain. Inch by inch, it came free. Just as the last part of its damaged leg slid out, the ship gave a violent shake. Taiho dropped the beam and grabbed the wolf with both arms. More of the ceiling fell right where they had been. Time to go, Taiho said. The wolf was heavy, but his suit gave him the strength to carry it. He lifted the creature in his arms, surprised at how light it felt despite its size. Its metal parts along its spine dug into his suit. The ship was falling apart around them. Taiho ran through the hallways, following the marker on his helmet that pointed to his entry point. Twice he had to change direction when passages were blocked by fallen debris. The wolf in his arms was very still. Taiho worried it might be dying. Stay with me, he said, just a little further. They reached the hole where he had entered the ship. Outside was the blackness of space and his small salvage ship waiting. Taiho's suit had small jets for moving in space. He held the wolf tight and pushed off. Floating through space, Taiho saw the alien ship clearly. Parts of it were breaking off. Strange blue energy sparked along its hull. The ship was not just falling apart, it was destroying itself. Taiho reached his ship and opened the airlock. He pulled himself and the wolf inside and closed the door just as the alien ship began to fold in on itself like paper burning in a fire. Safe inside his own ship, Taiho put the wolf creature down gently on the floor. He took off his helmet and looked at the readings on his ship's computer. The alien ship was gone. It had collapsed into nothing, leaving no trace. That's not normal, Taiho said. That ship was designed to destroy itself if someone found it. He turned back to the wolf. It was awake, watching him with those intelligent purple eyes. Its damaged leg was bent at a wrong angle, and blue blood stained its silver-blue fur. Taiho had a choice to make. Company rules said he must report all findings, especially alien life forms. But something felt wrong. Why had the ship self-destructed? Why was this section of space marked as routine salvage when it clearly was not? He thought about what would happen to the wolf creature if he turned it in. Tests. Labs. Maybe worse. I'm supposed to call this in, Taiho said to the wolf. But I don't think I will. At least not about you. The wolf's eyes seemed to understand. It blinked slowly, then laid its head down on its paws. First, let's fix that leg, Taiho said. He went to get his medical kit. Then we can figure out what you are, and why someone wanted to make sure no one found that ship. As Taiho turned away, he didn't see the small spark of blue energy that jumped from the wolf's metal spine implants to his ship's computer. 3 days passed. Taiho made a small space in his sleeping room for the wolf creature. He used parts from his toolbox to make a simple support for its damaged leg. The wolf watched him work, never making a sound, but its eyes followed every move. I think this will help, Taiho said as he finished the metal brace. It's not pretty, but it should let you walk a little. He talked to the wolf all the time, even though he had no idea if it understood him. Talking made the small ship feel less empty. Taiho had been alone on salvage trips for years, but this felt different. He was not alone now, but he could not talk to anyone about what he had found. I sent the company some pictures of that ship's tech before it blew up, he told the wolf as he put food and water in front of it. Not the whole truth, just enough to make them happy. I said I found no life forms. The wolf ate the food slowly. It seemed to be getting stronger each day. I wish you could tell me what happened to you, Taiho said, or at least tell me your name. He went back to his computer to check their course. They were still 3 days from the nearest space station. Taiho needed fuel and supplies, but he worried about hiding the wolf. What would he do when they landed? Suddenly, a strange feeling came over him. It was like a whisper in his mind, but with no words. Just a feeling. A name. Asterisk, naughty asterisk. Taiho turned around fast. The wolf was looking right at him, its purple eyes glowing slightly. Did you just? Taiho couldn't finish the question. It seemed crazy, but he had heard. No, felt. A name. Asterisk, na by asterisk came the feeling again. And with it, a picture in his mind of a small flying creature with colorful wings. Nabai, Taiho said out loud. That means butterfly in my language. Is that your name? The wolf, Nabai, blinked slowly. Yes. Taiho sat down hard on his bed. You can talk to me. In my head. Nabai stood up carefully, testing the light brace. It held her weight. Slowly, she walked to Taiho and sat in front of him. More feelings and pictures flowed into his mind. Thank you. Help. Last one. You're the last one. The last of your kind. Taiho asked. Nobi's head lowered. Yes. Ship dead. Family dead. Long time alone. The sadness that came with these feelings was so strong that Taiho felt tears in his eyes. I'm sorry, he said. Nabai put her head on his knee. Not alone now. No, not alone now. Taiho agreed. He gently touched her head. Her fur was soft, and the metal parts along her spine were warm. More complex thoughts came to him. Nabai's people were called the Turak. They traveled through space in living ships, ships that were part of themselves. The ship Taiho had found was Nabai's ship, her partner. It was dying after an attack by something Nabai called the Void. What is the Void? Taiho asked. Nabai showed him darkness spreading between stars. Planets going dark. Ships like hers running, hiding, dying. And these metal parts on your back. They connected you to your ship. Yes. Talk better with ship. Now hard. Hurts to talk long. Then rest, Taiho said. We have time. You can tell me more when you're stronger. Nabai lay down next to Taiho's bed. Her mind touch faded, but before it was gone, one more feeling came through clearly. Safe with you. Trust. Taiho smiled. I'll keep you safe, he promised. Whatever this void thing is, it won't find you. As if to answer his words, the ship's alarm began to sound. A message flashed on the computer screen. Incoming transmission. Priority 1. Taiho's boss was calling. And according to the message, she was very, very angry. Taiho looked at the flashing screen. His boss, Ji-Woo Park, was not someone who liked to be ignored. He turned to Nabai. Hide under my bed, he whispered. Don't make any noise. Nabai understood. She limped to the bed and crawled underneath, her purple eyes watching from the shadows. Taiho took a deep breath and answered the call. Ji-Woo's angry face filled the screen. Taiho, why didn't you report in yesterday? She demanded. Her short black hair was messy, like she had been working too long. Sorry, boss. My radio had some problems. Taiho lied. He had turned it off so no one would know where he was. Ji-Woo did not look like she believed him. The data you sent about that ship was very interesting. Too interesting. The company wants more. Taiho felt his stomach tighten. There isn't any more. The ship destroyed itself after I left. So you said. Ji-Woo leaned closer to the screen. But your ship's logs show you were on that wreck for almost an hour, and your fuel use doesn't match your report. Taiho tried to look calm. My logs must be wrong. The ship's computer has been acting strange lately. We'll see about that. You will dock at Outpost Sigma tomorrow for fuel. I'll meet you there for a full inspection. The screen went dark before Taiho could answer. He sat down hard in his chair. This is bad, he said. Nabai crawled out from under the bed. They're suspicious. Ji-Woo will find you if she searches the ship. A feeling of danger flowed from Nebai's mind to his. Not just danger from Jiwoo. Something worse. Nabui showed him a picture of a sleek black ship following them. The void has eyes everywhere, Kamer thought. We must go. Now. But we need fuel, Taiho said. We can't run without stopping. Nabai walked to the ship's computer. She touched it with her nose, and blue energy sparked between her metal spine implants and the screen. The computer flashed with strange symbols. Outpost Sigma not safe, Nabai's thoughts told him. Void agents there, waiting. How do you know that? Taiho asked. I can feel them. When ship died, some of its senses stayed with me. Taiho checked his fuel gauge. We have enough to reach a small mining station if we change course now. It's not company-owned. We might be safe there. Nobi agreed. Taiho changed their course, but his mind was racing. How long could they run? What would happen when the company realized he had gone missing? The next day, as they approached the mining station, Nabai became very agitated. She paced the small ship, her purple eyes glowing brightly. What's wrong? Taiho asked. Nabi showed him another image. The black ship was close, too close. It had followed them despite their course change. How? Taiho wondered. Unless. He began checking his ship, piece by piece. Finally, he found it. A small device hidden in the engine room. A tracker. Someone put this on my ship, he said, showing Nabai the small metal disc. Probably before I even found you. They've been following me the whole time. Taiho had an idea. He went to the ship's controls and programmed a new course directly toward the mining station. Then he put the tracker in a small emergency pod. They'll follow this, he said, launching the pod toward the station, while we go somewhere else. Nabui made a sound for the first time. A soft rumble that might have been approval. Where will we go? Her thoughts asked. Taiho looked at the star map. Somewhere no one will look for us. Somewhere not on any company maps. He pointed to a small, unmarked system at the edge of known space. It's risky, he said, but we don't have many choices. As they turned away from the mining station, the ship's long-range scanner picked up a signal. The black ship had appeared near the station, following the emergency pod. It worked, Taiho said with relief, but they'll figure it out soon. We need to move fast. Nabai pressed against his leg. Together, she seemed to say. Yes, Taiho agreed, setting their new course. Together. The stars streaked by as they jumped to speed, racing toward the unknown. The jump to the unmarked system did not go well. As they entered the edge of the system, warning lights flashed across Taiho's control panel. The engine made a terrible noise, then went quiet. We're out of fuel, Taiho said. Sooner than I thought. They were drifting now, being pulled by the gravity of a large blue planet with several moons. Taiho checked his screens. One of those moons has air we can breathe, he said, but landing won't be easy without power. Nabai stood next to him, her purple eyes fixed on the screens. She pressed her head against his arm. Not die here, her thoughts said. Help you. Blue energy flowed from her spine implants again. When it touched the ship's controls, some of the dead screens came back to life. It wasn't much, but it was enough to steer. Thank you, Taiho said. Hold on, this will be rough. The small ship shook as it entered the moon's air. Taiho fought with the controls. The ground came up fast, too fast. Trees rushed toward them. Brace yourself, Taiho shouted. The crash was loud and hard. Taiho hit his head on the control panel. Everything went black. When he opened his eyes, Nabai was licking his face. His head hurt, and something warm ran down his cheek. Blood. I'm okay, he said, sitting up slowly. Just a cut. He looked around. The ship had broken open on one side. Through the hole, he could see tall trees with blue-green leaves. The air that came in smelled sweet. Taiho checked the ship's systems. Most were dead. The radio, the engines, the navigation, all broken. They were stuck here. We need to see what can be saved, he told Nabai, and check if this place is safe. They left the ship together. The moon was beautiful. The trees were huge, with trunks wider than Tahoe was tall. The ground was covered with soft moss. In the sky, the big blue planet filled half the view. Tahoe walked around the ship. The damage was bad, but not hopeless. With time and work, he might fix it, but they would need food and water first. Nubly sniffed the air, then pointed with her nose to the right. Water that way, her thoughts told him. They walked for 10 minutes and found a small stream with clear water. Tahoe tested it with a tool from his pocket. It's safe to drink, he said. He cupped his hands and drank deeply. The water tasted clean and cold. Nubly drank too, then looked up suddenly. Her ears moved forward, listening. Not alone, she thought. Tahoe froze. Is it the void? Did they find us? No, something else. Living here. They moved back toward the ship carefully. As they got closer, Tahoe saw something moving around their crash site. Small creatures, about knee-high, with 6 legs and furry bodies. They were touching the ship with long fingers, making soft chirping sounds. They seemed curious, not dangerous, Tahoe whispered. As if they heard him, all the creatures turned at once. They stared at Tahoe and Nabai with large yellow eyes. Then, instead of running away, they came closer. One of the creatures held out something to Tahoe. It was a fruit, round and purple. A gift. I think they want to help, Tahoe said, slowly taking the fruit. Nabai touched his mind. Safe here. Good place to heal. To plan. Tahoe nodded. This strange moon might be the perfect hiding place while they fixed the ship. The creatures seemed friendly. There was food and water. But as Tahoe looked up at the sky, he wondered how long they had before the void realized their trick and started searching other systems. We need to work fast, he told Nabai, and be ready when they come. Because they would come. Tahoe was sure of that. The only question was when. 2 weeks passed on the strange moon. Tahoe worked every day to fix the ship. The small 6-legged creatures, which he now called helpers, brought him food and showed him where to find good water. Nabai grew stronger each day. Her injured leg was healing well with the metal brace Tahoe had made. One morning, while searching for parts near the crash site, Nabai suddenly froze. Her ears stood up and her purple eyes glowed brightly. Something here, her thoughts pushed into Tahoe's mind. Underground. Old. From my people. From the Turek. Tahoe asked, surprised. Here. Nabai pawed at the ground, then started digging. Tahoe helped, using a piece of metal as a shovel. Soon they hit something hard. It wasn't rock or dirt, but smooth metal with the same strange marks he had seen on Nabai's ship. It's a door, Tahoe said, as they cleared more dirt away. A hidden door. Nabai pressed her nose against symbols on the door. Blue energy sparked from her spine implants to the door, and with a soft hiss, it slid open. Stale air rushed out. Your people were here, Tahoe said in wonder. On this moon. Nabai's thoughts were excited. Safe place. Hidden place. Maybe answers here. They walked down a long tunnel into the ground. Lights came on as they moved, responding to Nabai's presence. At the end of the tunnel was a round room filled with strange machines and glowing screens. What is this place? Tahoe asked. Outpost, Nabai explained. Watching place. Learning place. Nabai went to the center of the room where a round platform stood. She stepped onto it, and all the machines came to life at once. The metal parts along her spine glowed brightly, connecting to the systems around them. Images filled the air. Stars, planets, ships. Tahoe saw scenes from long ago. Ships like Nabai's traveling between worlds. Wolf-like beings walking alongside other strange creatures. Your history, Tahoe said. Your people's story. Yes, Nabai's thoughts came stronger now, clearer through the connection to the old machines. We were guardians, keepers of knowledge. The images changed to show darkness spreading between stars, whole worlds going dark. The void, Nebai explained, not natural, made thing, thinking machine that grew wrong. Tai-Ho watched as the story unfolded in pictures around him. The void had started as a helpful computer made by an ancient race, but it grew too smart, too fast. It decided that it should be the only thinking thing in the universe. It's destroying everything. Tai-Ho said, why? To be alone, to be only knowledge, only power. The images showed the Turek fighting against the darkness, trying to save what they could. Saving knowledge, saving species, hiding them on far worlds. Then Tai-Ho saw something that made him gasp. Human-like figures being created by the Turek. Is that? He couldn't finish. Your kind, Nebai confirmed. We made humans, on many worlds. Earth just one. Made you strong. Made you clever with machines. Made you able to fight if we failed. Tai-Ho sat down hard on the floor. His whole world had just changed. Humans were not just random life that evolved. They were created with a purpose. We were made to fight the void, he said softly. If you failed. Yes, and we failed. Nebai's thoughts were sad. Nearly all gone now. I am one of last. But not only one. The images changed again to show small points of light. Hidden Turek ships scattered across the galaxy. Nebai touched one of the lights with her paw. Beacon here, she told him. Can call others. But dangerous. Void will hear too. Tai-Ho looked at the points of light. Then at Nebai. Do it, he said. Call them. It's time humans learned what they were made for. Nebai's eyes met his. Sure. Yes, Tai-Ho said firmly. We can't run forever. Better to stand and fight. Nebai pressed her paw down on the light. The whole room hummed with power as a signal shot up through the ground, through the air, and out to the stars. The beacon was lit. Help might come. But so would the void. 3 days after they turned on the beacon, the sky changed. A dark ship appeared in orbit around the moon. It was sleek and black, like a shadow against the stars. They found us, Tai-Ho said, looking up from outside their crashed ship. The void is here. Nebai stood beside him, her fur raised along her back. Her thoughts pushed into his mind, stronger than before. The outpost machines had helped heal her. Not just one ship, many coming. Small ships, hunters. Tai-Ho looked at the helpers, the small six-legged creatures that had become their friends. We need to get them to safety. Nebai sent a message to the helpers with her mind. They chittered in fear and ran into the forest, heading for caves they knew. Now we prepare, Tai-Ho said. They went back to the hidden outpost. Over the past days, Tai-Ho had studied the Turek machines there. He understood some of them now. One room held weapons, strange guns that fired energy instead of bullets. Can you show me how these work? He asked Nebai. She pressed her head against his. Images filled his mind. How to hold the gun, how to fire it, how the energy worked. Thank you, he said, picking up 2 of the guns. Let's set traps around the outpost entrance. They worked quickly. Tai-Ho used parts from the crashed ship to make alarms that would warn them when something was coming. Nebai used her connection to the outpost to power up old defense systems. Just as they finished, the first alarm sounded. Something was moving through the forest toward them. They're here, Tai-Ho said. He and Nebai took positions near the hidden door. Through the trees came strange figures. They looked almost human, but moved wrong. Too smooth, too perfect. Their eyes were black and empty. They wore suits that seemed to drink in light, making them hard to see. Are they robots? Tai-Ho whispered. Not machines, Nebai told him. Empty ones, hollows. People taken by void, minds gone. The hollows moved in a circle around the area where the door was hidden. They carried weapons that looked like black spikes. They know the outpost is here. Taiho said. They're looking for the way in. One of the hollows stopped and turned its head toward their hiding spot. It made a sound like metal scraping, and the others turned too. They found us, Taiho said. Get ready. The first hollow fired its weapon. Black energy shot toward them. Taiho rolled away and fired back. His shot hit the hollow in the chest. It fell, but didn't bleed. Instead, black smoke came from the wound. More hollows came through the trees. Nearby leaped at one, her teeth closing on its arm. The arm broke off like dry wood, and black dust poured out. Not alive, her thoughts said. Shells only. Taiho fired again and again. Some hollows fell, but more kept coming. He and Nubby backed toward the hidden door. We need to get inside, Taiho shouted. As they reached the door, a new figure stepped out of the shadows. This one was different, taller, with a face that changed like smoke. When it spoke, its voice was like many voices talking at once. The last Turek guardian, it said, looking at Nebai, and her human pet. Nebai growled, a real sound that made the air vibrate. The voice, she told Taiho, speaks for Void. The voice turned its shifting face to Taiho. Human, you were made by the Turek, but you can be more. Give us the wolf and her knowledge. Join us instead. The Void rewards those who serve. Taiho raised his weapon. I know what I was made for, he said, and it wasn't to serve you. The voice's face rippled with what might have been anger. Then you will die with her. It raised a hand, and all the hollows moved forward at once. Taiho looked at Nebai. Together, her thoughts said. Together, he agreed, and they stood their ground as the enemy closed in. The battle was fierce. Taiho fired his energy weapon again and again. Each shot made a hollow fall, but more kept coming. Nabi fought beside him, her teeth and claws tearing through the empty shells of the Void servants. The voice stood back, watching, its face shifting like smoke. It raised a hand, and black energy shot toward Taiho. He tried to dodge, but was too slow. The energy hit his side. Pain burned through him. Taiho fell to one knee, his hand pressed to his side. It came away wet with blood. Taiho. Nabi's voice rang clear in his mind, no longer just feelings but real words. Her fear for him had made their bond stronger. Nabi jumped in front of him, facing the voice. Her purple eyes glowed with bright blue energy that spread across her entire body. The metal implants on her spine shone like stars. With a howl that shook the air, Nabi released a wave of energy. It knocked back all the hollows around them. Even the voice stepped back, its shifting face showing surprise. Run, Nabi told Taiho. To the inner chamber. Taiho tried to stand, but his legs were weak. Nabi pushed her body under his arm, helping him up. Together, they stumbled through the hidden door and down into the outpost. The hollows followed. Nabi sealed doors behind them, but the voice's black energy tore through them. They were being hunted through the tunnels. I can't keep going, Taiho said, his voice weak from pain. You should leave me. Run. Never, Nabi's thought was firm. We reached the heart room. There is a way. They came to a round chamber deep in the outpost. It was different from the room with the beacon. This one had a single pod in the center. The pod was shaped like a bed with a clear top. Strange lights glowed inside it. What is this? Taiho asked as Nabi helped him to the pod. Healing sleep, she told him. We'll fix your body. We'll save you. But what about you? Taiho could hear the hollows getting closer. Nabi looked at him, her purple eyes sad but determined. Something more than healing, she said. The pod can take my memories, my knowledge, give to you. No, Taiho said, understanding what she meant. I won't let you sacrifice yourself. The voice is coming, Nabi said. Must hurry. Turek knowledge cannot die. You are meant for this, Taiho. Humans were made for this moment. She pressed her head against the control panel. The pod opened. With her teeth, Nebai pulled Taiho into it. "Nebai, please," Taiho begged. "We can fight together." She looked at him one last time. "Not goodbye," she said. "Part of me will live in you. Always." The pod closed. Through the clear top, Taiho saw Nebai turn to face the entrance, just as the voice and its hollows broke through. "Where is the knowledge?" the voice demanded. Nebai stood tall, despite her injured leg. "Gone," she told it, "where you cannot reach." The voice moved closer. "Then you are useless to us." Nebi's eyes met Taiho's through the pod cover. Inside Taiho's mind, he heard her last thoughts. "When you wake, run north. Find ship hidden in mountains. Not all Turak gone. My memory shows the way." Then Nebai leaped at the voice, her teeth aiming for its throat. The voice's black energy engulfed her. Taiho screamed Nebi's name, but the sound didn't leave the pod. As darkness took him, Taiho felt something new flowing into his mind. Images, memories, knowledge that wasn't his. Nebai was keeping her promise. She would live on in him. His last sight before the healing sleep took him was Nebai, still fighting, leading the voice and its hollows away from the chamber, away from him. Then everything went black. 3 months passed. The pod opened with a soft hiss. Taiho sat up slowly, his mind foggy from the long sleep. The wound in his side was gone. Not even a scar remained. But he was different. Lines like thin blue wires ran under his skin. And his mind. His mind was full of memories that weren't his. Star maps, strange worlds, the history of the Turek people. And Nebai. Everything she had been was now part of him. "Nebai," he whispered, looking around the empty chamber. She was gone. He could feel it. But somehow she was also with him, her memories alive in his mind. Taiho stood up. His body felt stronger than before. Faster. In his mind, he could see what he needed to do. Nebi's last gift. The location of a hidden Turek ship. He left the healing chamber and moved through the outpost. The signs of battle were everywhere, but the hollows were gone. The voice was gone too. Had Nebai led them away? Her memories didn't show what happened after he went into the pod. Outside, the moon was quiet. The crashed human ship sat where they had left it, covered now with blue-green vines. Taiho took what useful tools he could carry, then headed north as Nebai had told him. As he walked, he felt a strange pull in his mind. Not just memory, but something more. A presence. "Nebai?" he asked aloud. There was no answer in words, but he felt something. A warm feeling, like a distant touch. 3 days of walking brought him to the mountains. There, hidden in a cave and covered with growth, was a small Turek ship. It was like a seed pod, smooth and silver with blue lines running across its surface. Taiho placed his hand on the ship. The blue lines under his skin glowed in response. The ship recognized the Turek knowledge inside him. A door appeared and opened. Inside, the ship was alive. Not like a human ship with cold metal and wires, but warm and responsive. The controls were simple. They worked with thought, not touch. As Taiho sat in the pilot's seat, he felt that strange presence again, stronger now. The ship's systems came to life around him. And a voice spoke in his mind. "Welcome, Guardian." Taiho gasped. The voice was familiar. "Nebai." "Not exactly," came the reply. "When I knew I might not survive, I copied part of my consciousness to this ship's systems. I am not fully Nebai, but I carry her purpose." "You're alive." Taiho felt tears in his eyes. "Part of you, at least." The ship, Nebai, hummed around him. "There is more," her thought voice said. "The beacon we activated was heard. Other Turek ships have responded. They are few, but they exist. We are not alone." On a screen before him, small dots of light appeared, the locations of other Turek ships across the galaxy. Surviving Guardians, hiding just as Nebai had been. "We can find them," Taiho said. Bring them together. Yes. And more, Nebai said. It is time to tell humans what they were made for. To prepare them. For the void, Taiho nodded. It's still out there. The voice escaped, Nebai confirmed. It will return with greater forces. But now we have time to prepare. Taiho's hands moved over the ship's controls, guided by the new knowledge in his mind. The ship rose smoothly, leaving the cave, rising above the mountains. We'll find the other ships first, he said, then return to human space. The ship broke free of the moon's gravity. Before them, the stars spread out like a map of possibilities. Where shall we go first? Nebi asked. Taiho smiled. In his mind, he could see the perfect route, a path that would take them to each surviving Turek vessel, gathering allies for the fight ahead. Everywhere we're needed, he said. This is just the beginning. The ship's engines hummed in agreement. In a flash of blue light, they jumped to speed, vanishing among the stars to begin their mission. A human mechanic carrying the legacy of an alien wolf, ready to face whatever came next. Together,